Welcome into the DNVR Rockies Podcast. I'm Patrick Lyons.
I'm Susie Hunter. Patrick, we get to call this a winner's lounge because this win today was electric. Games like this, you look at them and you're like, how can you not be romantic about baseball? Like, this is why we show up and we go to these games. It's for moments like these. A walk-off homer, an incredible debut. Just so much to talk about today.
A lot of wild stuff, and you're right. That's probably the best part is we can actually talk about a win after having lost 6 games in a row, 5 in a row on this homestand, in danger of, I believe, only the second time in franchise history to have an 0-6 homestand. They had lost 15 of 16 to the NL West pretty much since they'd taken those first 2 games again in San Diego to start the year. But they get it done, and I don't really know where to begin. Is it the first home run, the second, the third, or the fourth? There's 4 home runs today for the Rockies.
I was gonna say, let me get my scorecard out. Yeah, this was a busy game.
Let's start with the last. Let's go memento style and talk about Nolan Jones.
That's a deep cut. Yeah.
Walk-off home run, the first of his career, the 72nd in Rockies history, a walk-off home run, and the first since last September when Elias Diaz did it.
Yeah, and also, you know, we're gonna hear from Nolan Jones in a second. His first walk-off ever.
Yeah,
it's
that
always
was awesome.
funny to see that, like, oh, you never made it happen in Little League. No, we made it happen up here in the majors at the top stage of baseball. Let's go, Nolan Jones.
I'm sure with these guys, it's 50-50. They have either a bad memory or, you know what, those moments really never did happen for them. And they just were able to do it. So that was just so wonderful to see from him. Before that, there wasn't much because we had an hour and 25-minute rain delay that did not actually feel that long. I was working on an article, so time kind of went out the window, but it seemed quicker than that.
Yeah, you know what? That rain delay bought you a little time. You're going to have a much nicer night because of it. But that rain delay, first of all, we're starting the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah.
Ryan Mac comes up. He's the first batter in that inning, hits a home run to tie the game. It's pouring rain, and then that's when the umps are like, you know what? This is the time for the rain delay. So, of course, at that point, you're like, okay, we don't know how long the rain delay is going to be. We don't know how long this game is going to stay tied. I mean, I was thinking like we could be here for a really long time. So good on Nolan Jones for making sure it was quick after we got out of that rain delay. Yeah,
and I think he even said that pretty much all the guys that were ahead of him, the vets, they were like, no, don't worry, you're not even going to have to hit because we're going to hit it out.
He did say that.
It didn't quite happen that way. They'll get you claim close. That was nice. Yeah, that 9th inning was interesting to say the least because the score was 3-3 in true memento style. Look, we'll get to how the 3 for the Rockies came about. But for the Padres, they scored a run in the top of the 9th with a walk to Ha-Seong Kim. He moves up. We had a wild pitch. There was a single. There was an error on that play.
I don't know how anyone pitches in rain like that.
It got wild.
It got really crazy, yeah.
Yeah, it got wild. Justin Lawrence. I mean, I was kind of worried that they weren't going to be able to grip the ball. But since they had already started that inning and the momentum kind of had already started going, I was like, all right, we have to finish this out unless it gets a little bit wild. So when they got the 3rd out, the Rockies in the top of the 9th, the grounds crew, I don't know if you saw this, actually went out and they kind of took off some kind of covering over the tarp. And we thought, oh, they're going to do it now? It doesn't seem right because if you were to take the tarp off now or put it on now, then take it off when it's dry for the Rockies in the bottom of the 9th, well, they don't get the same advantage of a wet baseball being thrown and wild pitches. So grounds crew unveiled the tarp but didn't roll it out. They went back in and they said, all right, let's try to play the 9th. I think we got 3 pitches in before McMahon hit one off the facade of that 3rd deck, as you mentioned. We still don't know how far it went.
A bomb.
We don't know.
Are you sure we don't know?
Take a look. Maybe it got updated.
I didn't see any posts about the actual distance of the home run until after the rain delay ended.
Yeah, I know that. I think the rain must have messed with it. So it definitely wasn't as immediate as it normally is. But he goes and does that. And then when that run scores, he hits that home run. The dugout erupts. Everyone who stuck around, the diehards out there, they stuck around. They went crazy. They enjoyed it. Then the ump said, okay, now we're on fair ground. I pretty much figured if we were going to go to extra innings, they would have brought the tarp out. And although they did at least wait for it to be like a tie score. Hey, Rockies, you get your fair licks in. You tied it. Now we'll go ahead and run the tarp out.
You know what? What a Dong has on their account? They have it listed, Ryan Mac's homer, 442 feet.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
A no doubter. It would have donged anywhere.
It would have.
And it donged here.
That's nice to see. And then how did we even get to the 9th inning? Well, the Rockies were down 3-1 going into the bottom of the 8th. Now, Dinelson Lamet, let's give him a little credit. 5 innings pitched, gave up 3 runs. Best start from him that we've seen in the 3. That gives you some hope, maybe. At least it gives the Rockies coaching staff a reason to give him at least one more start and see what he's got left in the tank.
I think technically one of those runs was unearned, too.
You know what? That's right. Yeah, that's right. One of them was unearned, and it was from an error that he made. So he found a loophole.
I don't know how that doesn't count as an earned run.
I've always kind of thought, like, wait a minute. I know what you're doing, you crafty bastard, you.
You crafty bastard.
It says it in the rule book somewhere, so I'm just quoting it. But Dinelson Lamet does a nice job. Blake Snell, even better job, only gives up the 1 run. He had struck out 12 batters. This is the 8th or the 9th instance of this happening. And it happened only by 7 guys before this. Randy Johnson had done it twice. The last was Jacob deGrom in 2021. So it's rare that in Denver, Mile High or Coors Field, you get a 12 strikeout game from just about anybody. Right? John Gray did it, of course, but from the opposing pitcher. So Snell was great. We get to the bottom of the 8th, and Coco Montes already had his moment. Coco Montes, it's Coco Day. That's it.
It really is Coco Day. It's his debut. He has had such a long journey through the minors to get here. He's been grinding down there for so long. But, that first at bat, he gets a hit.
Yeah.
And then the homer to tie it all up.
It was all about Coco, and tip of the cap to Blake Street Banner. We are going to have Aaron on this Monday. We promised it last week. We were able to figure out some things, so we'll talk about him. He had the scoop. He was the first one out there.
I was going to say, they were on top of it. So good for you, Blake Street Banter. Thank you for keeping us all posted. But yeah, this was an exciting day.
That was cool. Yeah, so he gets the call up. We see him. He flies in early in the morning. Seems very calm, even keel. We'll see him discuss what it was like getting that promotion here at age 26 after being a 15th round pick out of the University of Southern Florida. Article up right now on the DNVR.com. But he's even keeled, and Bud even says in the dugout before the game, he does not get rattled at all. He also said he doesn't vibrate. We had not heard that phrase before.
I've never heard that term. I didn't know if that was like a baseball term that I'm just not aware of.
It's not.
It's only my second season in the majors. I'm like, okay, did I miss something? Okay, so I'm glad it's not a thing.
So we're baseball insiders. We hadn't heard it. But there's an even further inside loop within those insiders where apparently they say guys, some of them, don't vibrate.
Or do you think Buddy's just making up words and messing with us at this point? How many times did he drop that's baseball or the shortened baseball?
Baseball. Now it's just abbreviated.
Buddy's funny.
He doesn't have time for that. So yeah, just had the calm heartbeat, and maybe it helped him in a sense. And I think he kind of briefly did mention that post game. It helped him going up to the plate that first at bat because he already had some early pregame jitters. That first at bat almost didn't even happen because of something that took place in the top of the second, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah. He and Bretton Doyle collided in the outfield trying to catch a fly ball. Crazy. They were down for a minute. I was like, oh, no. This cannot be the story of Bretton Doyle and Coco Montes right now. Both of them, such young, exciting players. I'm like, we cannot have another injury. Not today. Not in this economy.
I thought Doyle had gotten smashed harder from watching the play. And then the replay, you see Coco's body kind of jolt forward a little bit, and you say, oh, maybe he's the one that's going to feel it, and maybe he will tomorrow morning when he wakes up in Boston.
Probably will, yeah.
But he's like, no, I'm not coming out of this game. I'm staying in. Someone commented, hey, man, that's what happens when you got all these young guys turning over. They don't know how to play with each other, except they do. I mean, Doyle and Montes did play a little bit together late in the season last year with Albuquerque, as well as in spring training. But he's okay, gets that base hit, comes to the plate, sans batting gloves. We'll have to talk about that another time.
That's a whole other thing.
No batting gloves in the bottom of the 8th. And you say, he doesn't get rattled, buddy? Is that really true?
Yeah, it's true.
It's true.
It's true. There were no rattles. There were no vibrations. Just good vibes.
Home run off Luis Garcia, 377. To left field in the bleachers. We didn't find out if he got the ball. You hope that he got that. He's got at least has his first base hit. That's okay. He's got that one. So that was really huge for him to have that. But goes 377 left field off the second pitch slider. That was pretty much center cut. But still, veteran guy, older guy, experienced guy, man, pulling through like that on his debut. 9th Rocky in franchise history to homer in his debut game. First since 2019 when Sam Hilliard actually did it.
Sam Hilliard. We're going to see Sam Hilliard playing against the Rockies in a couple of days.
Gonna see him in Atlanta. It's that's pretty.
I'm excited about that because he's been doing really well in Atlanta. We obviously wish Sam Hilliard nothing but the most success.
Yeah.
Great A dude.
It was great. Let's get to the video on Nolan Jones because he's been doing it really well. Sometimes you're in the right place at the right time. I was there at the right place at the right time when we got him his walk-up music. Article just dropped yesterday about how well Nolan Jones has been playing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then he hits this walk-off home run. But let's hear from him what this moment was like. He's a bit exasperated here. He's catching his breath because it was a moment.
It was a whirlwind.
Nolan Jones, take it away, man.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, my mindset was it's just another at-bat. I tried to get a good pitch to hit and drive it. Tried to stay a little focused and get some swings in the cage during our little break. Just took it as another at-bat. I got a change-up that I saw well and put a good swing on it.
How's it feel to hit a no-doubter?
I don't think I compare it to anything. I think it's the best feeling in the world, and to get an opportunity to help the team win and put it away there in the 9th, I felt really good.
Have you had a walk-off home run before?
I think that's the first in my life. Yeah, there's not much feeling that I could. I don't really feel anything right now. It's kind of crazy. I mean, the young guys were contributing a little bit. Obviously, great pitching today. Everyone did their part. So to get any win's a big one. But after a little skid there we had, I think that was a big one before we hit the road.
Nojo went numb. That's it. That's all you can say.
You could see it in his eyes that he was just like so bewildered, so excited. This was a really great moment for this really exciting young player.
It was awesome. Yeah, he for anyone that doesn't know, he's not actually a rookie.
He's not.
He has the exact 45 days of service time that takes him out. Normally you look at playing time, like how many plate appearances a guy has, or innings pitched as a reliever or starting pitcher. But he doesn't have the at-bats, doesn't have the games played, but he's got the service time from being up on the roster. And has nothing to do with the 3 games he was up with the Rockies earlier in the year and didn't play. That did not spoil his rookie eligibility, just didn't have it. So unfortunately, despite how great he might play for the rest of this year, not eligible for the Rookie of the Year award.
I know. That's kind of a little bit of a robbery, I think. But at the same time, if you're crushing it, you're crushing it. Yeah. And that is really what is the most important. He's having a good time. I
had planned to start off the show by having some Ezequiel Tovar appreciation. Yeah. Because Buddy had kind of called for it over the weekend. Like, maybe we're not talking about this kid enough. A guy who is a rookie, who is in the mix to be the National League Rookie of the Year award. And he went out today, had his 5th home run. Gets the Rockies off to an early start against a pretty notable guy in Blake Snell. So he's got Snell as a notch on his belt, Clayton Kershaw.
Snell, Kershaw, like all the best dudes.
He's got it. Yeah, entering today, batting .343, 8 doubles, a homer. Now 2, of course, 7 RBI through his previous 19 games since May 22nd. Had hit safely in 16 of 19 games and ranked 3rd among NL rookies in batting through this span. Defensively, we know all season long, he's been doing it. All the defensive metrics really like what he's been able to put out there. So as much as Kyle Freeland has been that steadying presence in the rotation, I think Ezequiel Tovar has really been somewhat of a steadying presence in the lineup. Sure, it's at the bottom, so maybe less pressurized situations, but we did see him batting 2nd today.
He was batting 2nd today.
Which came in clutch. Again, getting the Rockies on the board nice and early there.
Yeah. I was gonna say, well, like everyone's so injured at this point. Like, you got to put him somewhere. But he played up to the occasion. I love to see that. Also, like I noted, because I think I tweeted a picture of the lineup, and someone was like, "Look at all the yard goats on there." I'm like, there are 5 former yard goats in this lineup today.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah. Yesterday I had noticed that the young guys, and we have to just call them that because again, Jones and Montero are not they don't have rookie, right? They don't have that rookie eligibility. You think of them as rookies, but no, they don't have rookie eligibility. But Doyle and Tovar do. So those 4 guys were in the lineup for only the 2nd time together. Today, they're in the lineup again, in addition to Robert Patrick Montes. So you actually had 5 of those young guys in the lineup, which...
You just full named Coco.
RP Montes? Yeah, man. Coco. He's the guy.
One of the photographers today asked me, like, why Coco? Is that really his name? I'm like, no. You remember the story.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know the story about why Coco goes by Coco?
No, I hadn't even heard about Coco until today.
He's like, I don't know who this guy is. Yeah.
Okay, well, remember the name now. So Coco Montes from the Miami area. When Coco Montes was born, he just had like this big bald head, and his family was like, oh, he's like a little coconut. So they started calling him Coco.
I was thinking hot chocolate, but
Nope. It is Coco because he's our
Coco. It's Coco, which is different.
Oh, okay.
It's different.
I'm so sorry.
Well, I like the familial connections too because, of course, we had, Chase Anderson talking about, his father, the passing of his father, and what that means, and I think he might have talked about that on Friday with the clothes that he wears to each and every one of his starts, and then Coco Montes with his nickname given to him by his grandfather. Again, it's just nice. Baseball is that sport. A lot of other sports are that way too, but I feel like baseball really is a sport that's handed down from one generation to another to another. Grandfathers to grandsons, grandmothers to granddaughters, you name it.
Yeah. Well, I like the biggest baseball influence in my life was my grandfather. So yeah, I inherited it.
I love that.
Yeah.
You inherited your passion for going to ball games, I imagine, and acting a fool, as we all do, having fun. This is a transition to talk about the DNVR bar on the corner of Colfax and York.
There we go.
And signing up, becoming an official diehard, so you can get 15% off all your food and drink here. The normal $10 cover charge for the NBA Finals, which does include a free brick brew. You actually get in for free if you're a diehard, along with 20% off all of our takeovers that we might have in the tailgates. And you were at one on Saturday against the Padres. Didn't get the win on that either. We're 0-2 on these. But an exciting game nonetheless. And again, another young guy that you wanted to see was Corbin Carroll for the Diamondbacks first. And then Fernando Tatis right beneath y'all.
Yeah.
Right beneath y'all.
It was actually so much fun. So yeah, we were in section 108, so out in right field, right above Fernando Tatis. So he gave my friend Steph the salute because she had a poster that said, "Show me your Tatis."
That's how you pronounce it. That's how you pronounce it.
A little play on words.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. He definitely noticed it. We got a lot of attention for that sign too. It was so much fun. I was telling everyone, be ready. This is home run territory.
Ooh.
But we didn't get any out there on Saturday. But Cronenworth hit a home run to that very section today on Sunday.
I think McMahon's ball kind of might have dropped down in there.
Oh, did it
too
drop?
Off the facade in that general area, right field, right?
Yeah, no, that's true. But it was so much fun. Another really funny thing happened. Nolan Jones was involved in this too. So in between innings, Nolan Jones went and threw a ball to a kid with a glove.
Cool.
To give them a little souvenir. But the ball bounces out of the kid's hands. It bounces down further in the section, and this grown man goes over the railing to catch it. So, I saw this thing. I didn't even realize there was enough of a platform. I thought this guy was about to die. So when I saw Nolan Jones in the clubhouse before the game today, I'm like, did you see that? He was like, I did see that. I thought I was going to witness a man die at the ballpark. Oof. It was really, so he's had a really exciting weekend.
Yeah, thankfully that did not come to
nothing
fruition.
bad happened. But he was over the fence,
man,
on the ledge.
That's commitment.
So don't do that if you're in that section.
No.
But yeah, the takeover was so much fun. We all had a blast. So many new faces there too. We made friends.
Ooh,
we
like
made
that.
long lasting, maybe lifetime friends.
Yeah, and props to Hurley out there. He did answer a trivia question I put out there on Friday. So it's another reason to make sure you're following at the Susie Hunter, at Patrick D. Lyons, at DNVR_Rockies. I've accidentally ended our show. No. All right. I can transition out of this.
It's been a really long day. We had an hour and a half rain delay. I'm kind of ready to go. We can wrap it up now if you want.
No, but you get extra raffle tickets when you're at any of our watch parties, of course, and the Diehards Only Discord, which is great because, there are folk, we've even got, we've got people watching that aren't even necessarily Rockies fans. They might be Nuggets fans, and so they're kind of getting into Denver sports, or they kind of just like what we do in our baseball takes, and we appreciate that. You can still actually participate in everything on our Diehards Only Discord and talk to the entire community and be a part of that. And if you are outside of our region and outside of our city, you can still take advantage of the Game Time Tickets promotion because when you use code DNVR, you actually get $20 off your very first purchase on the app. And the cool thing is, in addition to just saving $20 for an event, For some Rockies games, that might cover the cost of you and your date, or you and a pal, whatever it may be. But they allow you to get your tickets closer to the start of the event. So when there are some ticket brokers or folks that unfortunately can't make it out to an event, or they're worried about the rain coming in, they go, you know what? I heard it's going to rain on Sunday. I just don't even want to go at all. They're going to lower their prices as you get closer, and you can take advantage of that in a really cool way, up to about 60% off the face value, thanks to Game Time Tickets. So when you sign up, either use the link in our description or use promo code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. And when you head down to Illegal Pete's, make sure you kick off the spring, and damn, it's nearly
spring?
summer.
It's
We're in
almost
spring.
summer. We're kicking off summer.
Yeah, that's
in
it.
10 days.
Finish off spring.
Yes.
Finish it
there
off.
we go.
With the house beer bucket for you and your whole crew. That's 5 refreshing 16-ounce beers for only $15. Sit out on the patio. I mean, I know there's one up in Fort Collins. They've got a rooftop. They've got a party deck at their Illegal Pete's. How
I
about
didn't
that?
realize Fort Collins had a party deck going on at Illegal Pete's.
Any of the
That's
Illegal
awesome.
Pete's, any Illegal Pete's has got burritos, beers, and buddies locked down, and you can guarantee that, again, at any Illegal Pete's. Love to see that. You know, there's a lot of talk in the post game that, and you know, we've been hinting around it all season long. I mean, we've been discussing it, but it's been a matter of, when's it going to happen? When's the youth movement actually going to take hold for the Colorado Rockies? And today was somewhat pivotal. Besides just the results on the field with, you know, the walk-off by Nolan Jones and the Coco Montes base hit in his debut and home run, Tovar as well. The keys had already been turned over to him at shortstop. But you got Charlie Blackmon going on for right now the 10-day IL with a fractured hand, broken hand, fractured the 5th metacarpal in his bottom hand, in his right hand. Got hit by a pitch on June 3rd in Kansas City. Kind of been playing through it. The x-rays originally did not turn up any fractures. And then Doogie said, yeah, let me take a look at it again. All of a sudden, those fractures were apparent. So you almost have not a changing of a large guard, but a changing of the guard nonetheless, with Blackmon on the IL, Montes coming up, and these young guys now really starting to lead the team.
Yeah, and you know, this changing of the guard in a way, definitely not by choice, because we have seen so many injuries with dudes who, you know, would like to still be playing but are injured. We've been plagued with so many injuries following this team, so it really wasn't by choice. It was not, you know, the circumstance that you would want to see the changing of the guard, but at the same time, these kids rose to the occasion.
Yeah, that's actually an important point, that the plan B was not by choice.
This was not the plan.
No.
No one could have planned for this, so I'm glad it worked out today.
Charlie said post game, you know, he had a cast on his hand that, hey, this is, we're going with plan B right now. And so they get a win. They're 1-0 on plan B. Saturday, Nolan Jones, he had a solo homer that game. Didn't have a stolen base, but the 4 games before that, all 3 against the Giants.
So fun.
The first one on Friday night against the Padres. 4 straight stolen bases, only the 8th player to ever do that in 4 straight games. Charlie Blackmon, the last one to do it. He did it in 5 straight back in 2011. So first Brenton Doyle with all the tools in the toolbox, similar to a young Charlie Blackmon. And you got Nolan Jones, who you can throw into that mix. And he can also play a little first base. And we haven't seen third base yet, but he might have that tool in his box as well.
He has been all over the place in the past couple of days.
Yeah.
First base, right field, left field. What a versatile young man.
Frequent flyer miles. Yeah. Thankfully, he doesn't have to go too far for that. Batting, going into today's game, and I think he might have helped himself out a little bit. 393 batting average, 4th highest in the National League from the start of the month of June. You know, there were a lot of mental lapses in that game on Saturday. Kyle Freeland going into the windup with Manny Machado on first base, who gets a running head start. He ends up coming around and scoring on a single. That was pretty critical during what was just a 3-2 loss. He talked about that and said, yeah, that was a mental lapse. He did say, which I thought was interesting, that he could have kind of just balked and give Machado second base. He could have also just thrown a ball, like a pitch out. That would have been a ball on the hitter, and Machado still would have been at second base. So he actually decided, you know, I just need to execute this pitch. And I couldn't really, you know, argue with him in that moment. The mistake had already been made. He went to the windup. The umpire threw the ball out to him, so it kind of threw him off his game a little bit. It was an 0-2 count. And that, you know, play like that kind of was the difference. Another key play in that game, it was very subtle. It was in the 8th inning, I want to say, when Tovar,
that crazy, was that crazy catch?
It was Machado's glove, face, hand, as AJ Casavelli from MLB.com. It hit his glove twice. It hit him in the face. Then he caught it with his bare hand near the tarp. Was not officially a tarp play like Nolan Arenado. He got the ball in really quick, and ultimately Tovar didn't really know this rule. Did third base coach Warren Schaefer know? It's hard. So what happens is you can tag up on first touch, and that means if there's a guy in left field, let's say it's mid range, it's not shallow and it's not deep, and you go, ooh, this is going to be close. If the right fielder lets the ball hit off his mitt and he just kind of keeps upping it to himself and gets closer to the infield, you're like, well, he hasn't caught it yet. I can't tag up. You outsmarted me. That's unfair. You can't do that. So first touch, as soon as it hits that mitt, you can tag up. So as soon as it touched Machado's mitt, he could have tagged up. But didn't know the rule. Also, it was a play that was kind of in between. Moustakas had said, after the game on Saturday that you didn't know if Machado was going to catch that standing up. If he caught it standing up, he just turns around, fires a strike to home plate. Tovar's out by a mile. So it very much was an in-between play.
I was going to say that it has to be so hard to read. It has to be so hard to tell what Machado's doing over there. It was such a weird catch.
What are you
such a
doing
weird
over
play.
there,
What
Manny?
are you doing?
What are you doing? he was making it out there. And Doyle, too. It was the same kind of in-between play. I see where he was going. It was runner on first and second. Ty was scored 3-3. I think it was Tovar lashes a ball to left field, and he thought it was going to get down. Now, even if that ball had gotten down, it would have been close. Doyle's trying to score from second base. A decent throw from Soto might have gotten Doyle. So he just takes off, and he's like, I got to go full steam. Soto lays out, actually catches it, doubles off Doyle at second base. So you can say maybe it's a mental lapse, maybe it's some kind of mistake on the bases, but it's being aggressive. And there was so much aggression on the base pass the last 2 days from these young guys. So I'm okay with it. Yes, they were costly, but I don't know that they were full-on errors in the grand scheme of things. I'll give them a pass.
They were learning experiences.
Yeah. And so here's Freeland, very short, very brief. Good performance overall from Kyle Freeland, talking about his performance on Saturday, but he just was not good in all the wrong spots, unfortunately.
Kyle seemed like he had pretty good fastball command, but they battled. They ran the pitch count up a little bit. What did you feel out there today?
Yeah, they grinded me out, that's for sure. Obviously, 5 innings, 90 pitches, shows what their lineup is capable of. But thankfully, was able to keep them off the board as much as possible, give the offense a chance to win a ball game.
But he said that you guys had a discussion about whether you should go back out for the 6th. In his words, he said he kind of emptied the tank. Is that how you felt?
Yeah, I mean, he came up to me after the 5th inning and asked me if I emptied it there, and I told him, yeah, I did. Big situation right there. Runner on third with Sanchez up. It was time to empty the tank and prevent them from scoring there in the 5th and taking the lead. That was the conversation.
Are you surprised that Machado was able to score on that single in the first inning?
Yeah, no, I wasn't. That was an absolute lack of mental focus on my part. Got the ball back from the umpire, and for some reason went to the back of the mound and just lack of focus and towed the rubber in the windup instead of in the stretch. And I didn't hear anyone yell until I was fully into my delivery with my leg up. And at that point in my head, it was the first thought in my mind was execute. Hindsight, stop the movement right there, take the balk, let him be on second, or throw a ball on purpose and again let him be on second. But my mind went straight to execute the pitch. Tried doing it, and Sanchez hit a single with Machado on the run. Free hit and run for them, pretty much.
You would have liked a little bit more length from Freeland, only the 5 innings, but as you said, emptied out the tank there in the 5th. Bullpen, did a pretty good job. Although Bird comes in, does walk the bases loaded, 2 RBI single for Fernando Tatis, and you go, this guy again. It was nice when he didn't have to play for an entire year, right?
Right. I miss those times.
It was kind of nice. And then Friday, man, that was another loss. 9-6 loss at the hands of the Friars. Homerfest, 5 home runs, 3 off of Gomber. I think that ties a career high for him. 2 off of Peter Lambert, and first loss for Gomber since that real rough one against Pittsburgh. Where he kind of, let his emotions out a little bit. Gave up 11 hits, career high for him on that, most by a Rocky starter since Marquez. And fifth time this season already that a Rockies starter had allowed 3 home runs.
You know what the crazy thing is, though, about Friday's game? I'm going to walk you through how crazy it was. So Friday was 6-9, June 6th. Yu Darvish, the first strikeout he had was his 69th strikeout of the season.
Oh.
Austin Gomber's ERA going into this game, 6.99. And the score at the end of the game, Rockies lose 6-9.
And you know what the temperature was first pitch?
I don't think it was 69 degrees.
I don't actually know what it was.
I don't think it was.
But I just floated out there.
I would have had a full-on meltdown.
You'd have been ready
if
for
it
that
was.
one.
I would have been ready.
You would have been ready. That's
so
okay.
the signs were all there. If 69 is your angel number, like, good for you. You had a good Friday.
There
it
you
was
go.
not a good night for the Rockies, though.
We're not going to play some weird, wild, and wonderful, but we're going to talk about the
acknowledge.
weird, the wild, and the wonderful. And you brought up, I guess it's weird, but in a way it's kind of wonderful. I mean, not if you're a Rockies fan, but you brought up Yu Darvish. He earned the 100th win of his career, only the second Japanese-born pitcher, to have 100 wins in their career. He's behind Hideo Nomo, who famously threw a no-hitter at Coors Field against the Rockies, the only man to ever do that. Nomo has 123 wins. 10th pitcher all-time to record his 100th win against the Rockies, and only the 4th at Coors Field. Mike Morgan in 95, Wilson Alvarez in 2004, and also Derek Lowe with the same LA Dodgers as Wilson Alvarez in 2004. So weird, I guess. Wonderful for him. Weird in general.
I think it's wonderful for the game of baseball. You know, even though this was not a good night for the Rockies, this is still something that, like, we get to see greatness. And that's a great moment in baseball history. Great for him. We had so many, there were so many Japanese media members there. Like, it was just an influx. The press box was actually packed. Pretty much no seat went unoccupied. It was a really cool night. It was cool to see. I wish, didn't have to be against the Rockies, but it was a cool moment.
A lot of the news agencies for those more star players in Japan, South Korea, there's someone from a news agency that their job just is to report on that player's game. So
Yeah.
I mean, like Ha-Seong Kim, from South Korea, he's one of those guys from San Diego. The wild of the weekend, I mean, we already talked about Manny Machado. I mean, we're going to be seeing that clip for just years to come. Who was it earlier in the year where we said, it's going to be on the highlight reel of this player's just all-time either plays or games or moments? This one, might do it for Machado. There was another one. I can't remember what it was.
Well, this season already feels like it's 500 years long, so I really do not even remember I don't remember what you could be talking about.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's.
But which Machado player are we going to be talking about? The juggling act?
The glove face hand play. That's that might be how we call it.
It was an all-timer for Machado.
Yeah, it was a pretty good play, pretty good style. Yeah, he covered a lot of ground in that, so props to him. Definitely wonderful. 4 Colorado kids pitching in Coors Field this week. Of course, we had the Doublemint twins, Tyler and Taylor Rogers of the San Francisco Giants, Kyle Freeland on Saturday from Thomas Jefferson, a day game too on Saturday. That was also weird.
It was weird. It definitely threw everyone off. A lot of people who were here for the takeover too were like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize that this had to be a day game."
And the guy that people may have forgotten, Steven Wilson from Dakota Ridge High School, got in the game on Saturday in relief for the Padres. So that's kind of neat. All of those guys, at once. And we know Lucas Gilbreth is in the ballpark, and Pierce Johnson, who did get to play. Look, I forgot to mention him. Pierce Johnson. We got 5. We got
he was in the mix this week.
Yeah, he was in the mix in a really cool way. So I like to see that.
I wonder, do you think Bill Schmidt's sitting there like, oh man, look at all these Colorado-born pitchers that are not pitching for the Rockies? Like, it's got to be driving him nuts because he likes to hoard them.
Oh, he's got a spreadsheet.
He does. Bill Schmidt definitely has a spreadsheet of every pitcher who has ever even been to Colorado.
The question is it on the Google Drive? Is it on a desktop? Or is it just in a notebook, like an accountant's notebook? Is that where a spreadsheet is? I don't know how old school he's getting. I don't know how old school, but
Next time next time we're at the park, in like basically 2 weeks after this really long road trip, you go up to Bill Schmidt and just be like, all right, what's your spreadsheet like? Come on, let's talk shop.
I love I love going up to other folks saying, what's your spreadsheet sitch?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I get some interesting responses, to say the least. But what's not an interesting choice, because it's the choice a lot of folks are making right now, and that's Breck Brew's Avalanche Ale. That's just the choice now.
Look at this bucket of Avalanche Ale we have going on here.
Bucket of bottles, baby. I love it.
I love a beer bucket.
We should keep count. I'll start a spreadsheet of all the barbecues that we go to this spring and summer and even fall. There's still some nice days in fall where you go to, and they're not really supporting DNVR, but they've got Breck Brew, right? They got the 15 can sampler. They got Avalanche Ale, and you go, oh no, that's not for me. It's just what people drink in Denver.
They didn't do that for me. It's just like the best beer you're gonna find in Colorado.
They just know it's got that touch of bittering hops, which is kind of perfect for this time of the year. It's really delicious. And find out where you can get your Breck Brew Avalanche Ale over on breckbrew.com. They got a really cool thing. It's called the Breck Brew Locator.
You can find the beer you're looking for.
Yeah, like you can do it from your comfort of your own home. You don't have to keep driving to every liquor store. You just do a Google search and it'll tell you right in your neighborhood where you can get that, and it's super, super convenient.
It's great. Yeah, and of course it works across the country because you can find Breck Brew all over the place.
You can.
When I visit my family in North Carolina,
you found
I
it.
can find Breck Brew there. Shout out to Nicholas, our intern, who is from North Carolina.
Boom. That's it. Is Nicholas, are you allowed to even go on the Breck Brew Locator website?
He's 21.
Just checking.
Nick had some purple margs with us last night too, or yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know if there's any locations nearby Andy that has the Breck Brew? Did you use the Breck Brew Locator for that?
He's talking about my dad. You know what? I actually will have to check. My dad's so funny. Like my dad can have like one beer and then he's just like, and then he's tipsy and he's very. I know, you would think, because he's a big guy too. Like he's really tall. Like you would think like, oh, this guy's a tank.
Does
like,
he not drink a lot? Maybe is that why?
No, he doesn't.
Oh,
he doesn't.
okay.
Yeah. My family, not really big drinkers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then there's me, who had 2 purple margs at the game yesterday. I was like, whew.
Living your best life.
A
That's
20-something?
That's it. Living the best life. Well, if you're not living the best life right now because you've been hurt in some kind of accident, fear not, because the Breck Brew Locator is nice and can tell you where you can find some Breck Brews. Backus and Shanker, they're going to help you out if you've been injured in a case, and they've got offices in Denver, Aurora, Inglewood, and Fort Collins. But you know what? You don't even have to go to their offices. All you have to do is give them a call, and they'll already start working for you for free. They'll consult with you for free. They'll work on your case for free. They're going to do that until they win money for you. They've done it to the tune of over $1 billion.
Billion with the B.
With a B.
The B.
With a B, man. That's how they do it. B is in Bacchus, B is in billion.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's how you can remember the folks over at Bacchus and Shanker. Give Shanker some love as well. So yeah, call them up, 222-2222. All Tulowitzkis, all Alexi Almaristas. Not Coco Montes, because he's number three. He's number 3.
Yeah, Coco Montes. That's a prime number right there.
It is.
I mean, that is
literally.
It's literally a prime number, but also like,
literally.
that's a really good number to wear.
It's
good
a good
for
one.
him for getting such a good number.
R.I.P. Dom Nunez. But if you've been injured in an accident.
R.I.P. He's alive.
Well, he is.
He's just dead to you.
Where? Who does Dom Nunez play for now?
Wait, where is Dom Nunez?
Yeah, it's Cubs. He's in Iowa. He's in Des Moines.
Oh,
he's hanging out with Kale Sorbo right now at a wedding somewhere in Des Moines.
Yeah, Kale Sorbo's at a wedding out there.
But seriously, if you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, car accident, motorcycle, we're even talking rideshare, pedestrian, trucks, scooter, give them a call, 222-2222. Find out if you got a case for free. Because you know who wins?
Bacchus and Shanker.
We also are going to win because we're going to have a lot of fun right now. Because it's time for Susie's segment. Segment 3.
Yeah, we haven't played this one in a while. We're going to play Say What?
Oh. What? You asked me to.
Say what?
Was it rhetorical? The say what?
Have these like little quotes always been in the background of this graphic?
Yeah. Actually, I worked really hard on this like
Well, you know what? I'm just noticing what it says now.
If I wanted to
can't
put
really see
someone in the
monitor.
hospital, I easily could. Okay.
These are actually the first ever Say What quotes you gave me.
Oh, these are good. Yeah, it
Whoa.
was totally unhinged.
It's a nice little memento. Like you'll always know what your first Say What quotes were.
I was
love
going to say,
that.
usually I can't see the monitor this well, so maybe my eyesight's getting better. I ate some carrots today, so there you go.
There you go.
There you go. All right, so we're going to play Say What, where I give Patrick some out-of-context quotes, and he is going to guess who said them. Patrick, are you ready?
I've never been more ready in my life.
Don't you dare Google any of these quotes.
What? I'm not. Can you start all of your questions with, "Hey Siri"?
Give me your laptop.
Start by saying, "Hey Siri."
Oh no, you're just hopping in the chat. Okay, I'll forgive you.
So Siri on the computer just went off.
Oh my gosh,
That say Siri.
Oops. Sorry, Siri. I mean, okay. Look, no hands. Look, Ma, no hands. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna run this.
All right, let's start with our first quote.
Wait, are these all at least from the last week?
These are all very recent.
Okay,
these are all very recent. Okay, quote. Baseballs are all different. They feel different in a pitcher's hand.
I'm
Patrick,
out.
who said this?
I'm already out. I'm already out. This looks like a manager's silhouette. I will say that. A manager with, that's not even a baseball bat. That's a fungo bat.
That good eye,
So
Patrick.
who is carrying around a fungo bat? Baseballs all feel different. They feel different in a pitcher's hand. I mean, you know what? I'm going to say Buck Showalter said that. It's just a random guess. Buck
you know
likes
what?
talking about
right
stuff like that.
division, wrong dude.
Ooh.
Phillies manager Rob Thompson said this on his ejection yesterday.
Oh.
So
I didn't catch this.
All right. So Aaron Nola kept like throwing balls back because they just didn't feel right.
Okay.
And the umps decided, you know what, you're using this as a way to kind of manipulate the pitch clock. So Rob Thompson did not like this. He took offense to this. He ended up getting ejected. He was so worked up to the point where he gets ejected. But he was adding listen, like in these later games, like sometimes the balls are like sweaty, sometimes they're dirty, they get slick, like the ump sweat gets on there. And he was just upset at the fact that they weren't going to let him switch out the baseballs. Because at that point, it's just like the umpire's discretion. They can just decide if they think that it's being used to manipulate or not. And, in the rules, you're not allowed to manipulate the pitch clock like that. But at the same time, who was to say that, just switching the baseballs? So anyway, Rob Thompson got ejected for it. But, just let us know that all baseballs are different.
Like snowflakes.
Like snowflakes.
And humans. Mm-hmm. Human snowflakes, baseballs. I think he got ejected for coming out of the dugout with the fungo bat. That's kind of threatening. I'm assuming that was a photograph that's why you got to be watching on the DNVR Sports Channel live on YouTube.
Oh my gosh.
And it's kind of fitting that Aaron Nola would have been doing that, especially considering everything that Phillies have had to deal with at Citizens Bank Park just this season. An article had come out recently about the pitch clock being very much different in Philadelphia than all of the other ballparks. So the Phillies have had their fill, and
Their fill?
I could see the umpire saying, "I know what you're doing here, and we're gonna put our foot down."
All right. Yeah, well, they did. They made an example of it, and
Feet were put down.
Feet were put down, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
All right. Some other stuff was put down. Let's go to the next quote. Quote, "This is my expletive."
Shohei Ohtani. Did he? No.
Who said this, Patrick?
Can you tell me what it's in reference to, or is that going to be too much of a giveaway?
It was. You know what? I'll tell you. I'll really throw you a bone here. It's in reference to a walk-off home run.
Oh.
But this wasn't Nolan Jones. I put this together before Nolan Jones won this incredible game for us today.
Yeah, no, he said freaking. Like he did a good job.
Kind of hurt a little.
He caught himself. He's like, this was freaking awesome. Yeah. No, he's a good boy.
That was a really fun moment.
Rockies got good boys, for sure.
They're good kids. They're nice young men.
This is and I get a feeling this is a lip read situation. This wasn't a post-game microphone in front of someone's face. This has to be a full-on lip read. I'm thinking, I didn't get to see all of yesterday's scores to know who did it. I'm going to say Randy Arozarena. I'm going to give some props from Team Mexico.
Oh, man. No. I mean, he would.
You
but
hear
it's
your
not.
boy, Randy Rosarena, right?
That's my boy, but I know the answer. This ain't the answer.
Also, shout out to Team Mexico and Yaya wearing his Team Mexico hat, looking fly as hell.
Big Trejo, Rowdy, and Rosarena fan over here.
Trejo went down to Albuquerque today.
He did, but he still has a place in my heart, and I'm in Denver, so he'll always be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, quick update on those transactions. Trejo does get Trejo. Okay,
We didn't talk about any of the actual transactions that happened earlier today.
Here, let
finish-
me show this one, then we'll jump into
You know what?
it.
Let's
Okay.
reveal the
Yeah.
quote, and then we can
Look at this producer producing
How
over
about-
here.
Okay, we're gonna get through this game, and then we will go through the transactions because so much happened
I
today
won't
that we didn't
remember.
even get into. So yeah, you were wrong. It's not Randy Rosarena. It was Will.
Shohei.
It was Will Benson of the
Oh.
Reds. He yelled this to the Reds dugout when he hit his walk-off home run.
Yeah, nice. That was a 14th inning. I think that was hitting the 14th inning.
It was a crazy one. It was a crazy
Something
one.
that the Rockies would know nothing about. They know about walk-off home runs now. They just don't know about extra innings. We're up to 76.
I thought today was going to be the day. I was like,
I jinxed it,
this
and yet-
game really could have gone much longer than it did.
Jinxes aren't taking right now. Jinxes aren't taking.
They're not.
So yeah, Trejo went down. Senzatella on the 60-day. Blackman on the 10-day
I said we were going to get
IL.
through the game. And
I'm
then
not going to remember. And then Brian Servin did get called up because Elias Diaz, not on the IL, but did get hit hard
He's
in the helmet.
they're being very cautious with him. Obviously,
that's good.
we want him to be as healthy as possible.
Right.
We want him to be well. I got to say, it was really good to see Brian Servin.
Yeah, it was cool.
He's just he's a great personality.
Yeah, he's
He's a good dude.
he's
It
part
was
of the
really
good
to
dude
see him.
parade.
Part of the good dude parade. All right, we got one more quote, Patrick. Don't you dare freaking cheat right now. Are you ready for the next one? All right, quote. I think it got blown out of proportion. It's just friendly, competitive banter, but I guarantee you if you were to mic both dugouts, you're going to hear certain things that people could take offense to. Patrick, who said this?
I have no idea. I'm trying to think of just a highly competitive game. Well, you know what? We'll talk on Monday's show at 1 p.m., of course, about the Rockies going back to Boston. But you know where Boston is right now? They're on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball playing the Yankees. So I'm thinking we could have a little Boston-Yankee rivalry business situation going on. That being said, I still have no idea who would have said this. Josh Donaldson.
No.
Oh, they're very specific.
No.
Right City, though.
Yeah, not the.
I had the right series?
No, Right City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, this was Pete Alonso talking about the Mets-Braves series. So there was a point where,
Yep.
he yelled from the dugout, oh, throw that pitch again. That got picked up by a mic. Atlanta fans didn't necessarily like that. They kind of booed Pete Alonso the next day a little bit because, everyone heard it online. But he's like, listen, if you were to mic up all the dugouts, please, you're hearing worse stuff than throw that pitch again.
Yeah, and you also had when he got hit in the hand and went down and left the game. I saw the clip that was in question, and I wasn't 100% convinced. Atlanta fans have misbehaved before in the past.
They do
So I
be
wasn't entirely
misbehaving.
convinced, but it also wouldn't surprise me if they were celebrating the fact that Alonso did have to leave that game. He's on the IL now. He's going to miss at least 3 to 4 weeks there. With that coach. So maybe he could be out the same timeline as Charlie Blackmon. I think Blackman's going to be out longer than what was suggested at 4 to 6 weeks. Maybe it could be 10, pure speculation. But
I know. Yeah, we don't know
it's rough.
yet. We don't
It's
know
rough.
yet. I can't believe Charlie Blackmon was playing through with a broken hand for a week at this point.
Or how does it happen in which it wasn't broken or wasn't fractured and then it becomes fractured? Wouldn't you have still been able to notice a hairline fracture?
I mean, Buddy did say sometimes X-rays are not conclusive.
Yeah,
and
that's
this
true.
is just one of those
That's
cases
true.
where it just didn't pick it up.
I'm assuming it was a hairline that didn't get picked up and then it became more full blown. But that's the kind of gamer that Charlie is, where he's like, yeah, I'm going to have to just play through this thing. It's it's a broken hand, but to him, it's just a thing. That's what he does.
I know. I feel awful. And of course, this is it's such sad timing too, because this is his last year on his Rockies contract. And, we're missing this could be precious time that we have left with him playing for the Rockies.
Man, I if you asked me yesterday, I would have said he's going to play 2 more years. He's going to get a 2-year deal somewhere else or a 1-year deal with an option. But then I think about his family and go, I think he would like to just be with his family. So, maybe you can kind of have your cake and eat it too and say, trade me to a contender. Or if a contender comes knocking, I will go and do that and maybe see if I can win a ring by the end of this year. And if it doesn't come to fruition, too bad, so sad. Now I will call it a career. But he's got to get himself healthy now. That's kind of the biggest obstacle. And, would he agree? He's got a 15-team no trade clause in his deal. But he also has 10-5 rights as a veteran. So if he gets traded to the New York Yankees, the question is, does he put the kibosh on it, or does he sign himself a nice razor deal with Harry's or Gillette's to shave that beard down and make a couple bucks on the side?
That would be the most dramatic facial hair transition in, I think, all of baseball history. Although Odor had to shave his beard when he came over, when he went to the Yankees from the Rangers. And, to the point that where, there was a story out where his daughter had never seen him without his beard. So, his daughter cried when she saw him for the first time. And, that's what would happen to Charlie Blackmon.
Yeah.
Poor little Josie. She'd be so upset.
That'd be weird. And you'd see
She'd be like, who is this man?
With that chin. I mean,
He's got
I
a
would
little
assume
dimple. His wife hasn't even seen it.
Yeah, I would assume that's what they would all be thinking. Yeah, it would be the most dramatic since Johnny Damon. That was wild when he went and did that. And man, but at least he had signed a 4-year deal.
Yeah.
Charlie could potentially be doing it for 2 months. I don't know.
Even want to think about it, Patrick.
Well, good thing we're not going to talk about it because then we don't have to worry about it.
We just don't have to talk about it. Yeah.
No, we don't. We can maybe on Twitter where we have a lot of fun and talk about a lot of things. You can check us out over at DNVR_Rockies. At Patrick D. Lyons is where I live on the Twitter sphere.
And I live online on many platforms. You can find me at the Susie Hunter,
including Penguin Club. Are you on Penguin Club?
Club Penguin.
Club Penguin.
Club Penguin, please.
Sorry.
Yes.
See, I did lose cool points.
Yeah,
I knew what
did.
it was, but I knew what it was, so nothing.
Yeah, okay. That's
All
fine.
right.
That's fine. I don't care.
Cool. All right. Well, I appreciate you giving us some Club Penguin momentum a little bit.
Yeah.
But you know what they say about Club Penguin momentum?
Oh, what do they say?
They say it's off the rails by that point. No, they say it's only as good as your next show. So we will see you here tomorrow on the DNVR Sports Podcast, live on DNVR Sports channel, live on YouTube.